What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Mikey Raider, just waking up and getting you guys all the latest information on the legal tampering period for the NFL. That's right. There's a day before free agency begins, or 2 days, and they're able to make negotiations and make everything official before it's official. It's kind of weird, but it gave us a beautiful, beautiful Monday. Or did it? I'm going to present you guys with a series of videos today, but let's get into the first topic of today's legal tampering period. We got ourselves another quarterback. That's right. Won't you be a Raider? Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? Gardner Minshew, won't you be a Raider? That's right, Gardner Minshew of Minshew Mania from the Indianapolis Colts, the Jaguars, and the Eagles is now apparently signing with the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know the official contract numbers. I just can tell you guys what I've been reading and give you guys my opinion. Apparently it's a $27 million deal. Might be 25. I might be getting the numbers mixed up. But I believe it is a 4-year deal, or it might have been 2 years. So many numbers in my head. Either way, I know it's between $25 and $27 million, which basically, in my opinion, takes over and it proves that Jimmy Garoppolo is now officially on Wednesday or Thursday, officially going to be released per the PED. They're going to get out of his contract and save that 20-something million dollars. That's why you were able to get Gardner Minshew on that deal. So, one problem is gone. A solution arrives for the veteran quarterback for the situation to pair him up with Aiden O'Connell. Okay, there's a lot to this signing. And Raider Nation is normally divided. I enjoy this signing. I see where it fits. And I understand it. But, in my opinion, coming off the Russell Wilson possibly going to the Raiders videos that we were talking about, where we could have got a veteran quarterback for a couple of millions of dollars, while the Denver Broncos would be footing the bill of the other $38 or $40 million for Russell Wilson. He apparently went to the Steelers on a 1-year deal, and they get him for like $2.5 million, while the Broncos are paying $38 million or whatever. So the Steelers get a veteran quarterback to compete in a 1-year deal. So Russell Wilson is betting on himself. They didn't want to give him a long-term deal. They don't know if they're going to have cringe with him or not. And that's possibly why the Raiders did not go in that direction as well. But I don't remember hearing that Russell Wilson even had a meeting with the Raiders or had one scheduled on the books. So, a lot of us were wrong. We thought that Russell Wilson might be, technically speaking, a good candidate to come to the Raiders in a veteran leadership role to save a bunch of money and, have a bridge quarterback that will compete with Aiden O'Connell. It didn't happen. A lot of Raider Nation is like, yeah, F yeah, baby! And then other Raider Nation's like, we could have saved a lot of money. And who are we going to replace him with? There's no guarantee we get a drafted quarterback. Those are people like me. Too in their head too much. Or too emotional. But hey, so that situation is gone. Congratulations. Good luck, Russell Wilson. Now we got Gardner Minshew. We got Minshew Mania. Okay, what does that mean for the Raiders? Well, it means we got another big personality with a lot of swag to build upon in our culture. He's a very humble guy. But I have to worry and have concerns for certain aspects. Because that's what Mikey Raider is. Mikey Raider is a worrywart. So, I love Minshew. I think he's a great quarterback. He will be great competition and to teach Aiden O'Connell. But when we look at our quarterback situation as a whole, we just replaced a Garoppolo with another Garoppolo. Same thing, we replaced Derek Carr with Garoppolo. They're all the same. In terms of their stats, Gardner Minshew, I think last year he had his most yardage after playing 16 or 17 games with the Colts, 3,300 and something yards, like 22 or 24 touchdowns. Like, he had the most interceptions of his entire career. But again, he's a 65%, like a 60% quarterback on average for all his years. And then you got to think that, like, we're replacing, again, he's a great quality veteran if he's the backup. That's the same thing, in my opinion, with Garoppolo. That's the same thing with Aiden O'Connell. He's good to be on the team. He looks prominent or poised at certain moments, but he's a backup. I don't see, even after 6 years of Gardner Minshew, I don't see him being that explosive quarterback that can literally change every game or the future for a foundation. That doesn't mean I don't like him. I like him. He's got the swag, he's got the poise, he's got personality. Now, that makes me think we got a lot of personality on the Raiders. I mean, we got some big swag and some big talkers, and we got some big personalities. You know who I'm speaking about, and I'm not speaking ill of any of them. Is it too much to add a Minshew mania to the team as the leader? He might end up being the starter, depending on how the draft turns out or the competition turns out in training camp. He might technically be penciled in as our starter. So Raider Nation, accept that. You got to start to accept that. And I don't want to. I want the promise of a young drafted quarterback. I want the promise of an improvisational quarterback, a foundational changing quarterback. In my opinion, Gardner Minshew is not that guy. Aiden O'Connell is not that guy. These are great quarterbacks that can be backups for many years and win a lot of games for teams when they need a quarterback in spot duty. That's how I feel about Minshew. And Max Crosby tore him up last year in a video that's making its way. And he said, little ass boy. Well, Gardner Minshew and Max Crosby, you're going to be reunited. You're going to see a lot of each other. And hopefully you go from a little ass boy to a grown ass man, Gardner. But I do love your humility in the video. And I do love your swag and your poise and your excitement on the field. You do have a lot of excitement and passion as well when the game is going good and you're winning and you're making some big plays. But that being said, it doesn't happen all the time. You were technically one of the most sacked quarterbacks last year. And depending on the Raiders' offensive line, you might be in that same similar situation this year. I'm not saying the Raiders' offensive line is going to be better or worse, but we are losing a few players that we're going to talk about in another video. And we got a young quarterback in the helm, Aiden O'Connell. Now we got Gardner Minshew mania, a swaggy, voice-rich quarterback that keeps going every 2 years, regardless of doing good PR or public relations. You keep going to a different team. And nobody wants to give you enough money to make you their starting quarterback. But now the Raiders technically did with a $25 million contract. So that meant from previous years, the Jaguars after 2 or 3 years, the Eagles after 2 years, the Colts after 2 years, didn't think you were worth $25 million. So I don't know if this decision is being made because of his bravado, because of his passion, because of his excitement that he brings on the field, how he can at certain moments excite players with his swag and all that. I don't know if that's one of the reasons why he's being brought to the Raiders on a $25 or $27 million deal. when we possibly could have got an athletic quarterback if we are looking for an improvisational athletic quarterback to change our offensive scheme in the draft. Gardner Minshew can run. Gardner Minshew does improvise every so often. But again, these teams have let him go on multiple occasions after a couple of years. Are they showering of him? Is he just proving he is what he is? He throws the ball on average 7 yards a play. Look up his stats. That's his average depth of targets. Yes, he can throw the deep ball on occasion, this and that. But I'm looking at his overall. I want a quarterback in the 9 to 10, 11 range on average. But I haven't looked up the other stats of the superstars in terms of that average. So, don't grill me on that. So, I enjoy this signing. It's a great veteran to come in and to teach Aiden O'Connell to compete with him. He's going to bring some passion, some excitement to the Raiders. I feel there might be too much passion and swag on the Raiders, and I hope they don't butt heads. But again, Gardner Minshew seems to be a humble swag, where he'll only talk crap or get people excited while he's on the field and having a good game. For the most of the part, if he's having a bad game or whatever, he's probably just going to sit on the bench and hopefully not sulk. But still, I like the signing. I get it. I just have worries on why so many teams keep letting him go and never making him the official starter in the second season. Like, he becomes the starter due to an injury or whatever, and then, he plays decently. He's probably a 500 quarterback. But then the next year comes around and they're like, it's okay. It's okay. We don't want you next year. We're going to draft a quarterback or we're going to bring somebody else. So he's a bridge quarterback. And you just got to think that depending on what happens for the Raiders in the draft, he's a bridge quarterback. He's a bridge quarterback that's just replacing Garoppolo. And to teach Aiden O'Connell a little bit. But now, I'm not trying to get racial, but we got 2 white quarterbacks. Okay? That stand in the pocket most of the time. Gardner will make some plays, but we got that type of a system so far. So that makes me look toward the draft and think, well, if we got 2 quarterbacks that are pretty much in the pocket passers, not really as athletic as I would hope them to be or improvisational. And again, I'm not taking any credit from Gardner Minshew. I know he's made plays like that. I get it. But that is not his strong suit. That is not his biggest skill set, if you know what I'm trying to say. Plus, passing the ball deep doesn't seem to be his biggest skill set as well. But he can make plays with his legs. But now that makes me think we got 2 quarterbacks on the roster, limited mobility. So I start to think that the Raiders think when the draft happens, they might not get one of those top 3 or 4 quarterbacks early on in the draft, that we might not be able to, or we're might not going to sell the farm to move up, to where we might draft a quarterback in the 2nd round or at the 12 or 13 or 14, wherever we're picking, that we might draft a quarterback there. And then, again, the really big, popular, athletic quarterbacks are going to probably be gone at that point. So then there's the possibility that the Raiders are looking at like a partially mobile or in the pocket passer. I don't know who that could be. Could that be Drake May? I don't know all the quarterbacks that are going into the draft. But now by bringing on Gardner Minshew instead of somebody else, like I forgot the names of them, but the quarterback with the Cleveland Browns and stuff like that were very improvisational and run around, and they were less in the pocket passers. We didn't bring one of them as a veteran backup. We brought in a semi in the pocket passer. So I don't think the Raiders are going to sell the farm, or they have concerns they're not going to be able to move up to get that coveted top 3 quarterback. So they're making plans with Gardner Minshew in case they don't get their coveted quarterback that might be the day 1 starter. And just scares me a little bit because, like I said, they're making plans. They're doing their due diligence. So there is a good possibility that we don't get one of those vaunted quarterbacks and we have to draft in the middle of the first round or in the second round and get a semi-immobile quarterback or whatever the case may be that we don't know is a pure starter. They're going to have to compete with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, and then whoever comes out victorious will be our starter. That is the situation that I believe might be happening, and Gardner Minshew, there's a very strong possibility he is the Raiders' Week 1 opening day quarterback. So let that sink in. Do you like it? Don't you like it? That's just the facts of the matter. It's the same thing with Garoppolo. It's the same type of situation. He's a bridge quarterback, but I don't know if we're going to be able to move up in the draft and get the people we might covet. They might not even draft a quarterback in the first round because they feel they got a good enough bridge quarterback. I don't know. It's all up in the air, guys. But hey, what do you guys think of the Gardner Minshew signing? Let me know in your comments down below. Let me know if you think the Raiders are still going to draft a quarterback, an in-the-pocket quarterback, an improvisational quarterback, or a combination dual threat. I'm Mikey Raider. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay strong, stay Raider. And you know what? Gardner Minshew, won't you be a Raider?